Junk Net.
Where entertainment lives.
This episode is sponsored by Heaven's Pantry's Excalibur, the only vegan brownie you will ever need in your life. 6 simple ingredients, all natural, all vegan. There are no ingredients in this thing that you cannot pronounce. Eat it whenever, in the morning, on the go, at night, right before you go to bed, a little midnight snack with your little milk or whatever you prefer. You know what I mean? But get you an Excalibur. Use our promo code on Amazon. Get Talking Junk 69. Get 10% off. Or you can use the first promo code. As always, we are always sponsored by Dizzle, the premium mango liqueur. You got to get this. It's available online. Go to the dizzlebrand.com. You can find out exactly where it's distributed. They'll mail it straight to your house. If you're in the LA area, you can get it anywhere. This is what you want. It mixes well with anything, any type of liquor, any type of drink you want to substitute it for. Whatever the case, be sure to pick up Dizzle. We got a great guest for you tonight, Eric Christiansen. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Talking Junk.
I'm your host, Melendez.
Talking Junk.
Most professional in different aspects, different walks of life.
Come on, talking junk like
From the creator of Homecoming, a Vietnam vet's journey, searching for home, coming back from war, an Eric Christiansen film, Hope.
On September 11th, when I was running outside through the plaza between the two towers, I ran just instinctively and wildly and lost my shoes. Things just turned inside out, like it sucked something out of me.
I don't know of a single type of traumatic event when there isn't an element of loss. And at the same time, what have you kept?
We were in trouble. I told dispatch we needed help. I just remembered looking at the crowd and seeing how big it kept getting, and seeing bottles crashing. I don't know what happened after that.
When we don a mask, as Jung called it, the face we show to the world, that nobody can see what's really going on underneath, or the shadow side, as Jung also called it, the inner face, the part that we protect so mightily so that nobody knows what we're really going through.
That night after he assaulted me, I was numb. I had a job to do, and I just shut down.
My stepfather mentally, physically, and sexually abused me, and my biological father came into the picture, and it just escalated. I said anything, I would have gotten beat. Everybody had power over me. I didn't stop and take that mask off.
I think we're mistaken to think that big trauma is war or some major disaster. Big trauma occurs every day of the week, here in New York and elsewhere.
9/11 happened, and there was no creativity happening during those years. That was just the trying to stay alive years.
I feel that time has been robbed from my daughter, and now she sort of has to start all over again.
I'm embarrassed that it's been 17 years.
You never lose everything. There is no situation where you lost everything. So the loss is a very good way for me to start discussing what is left.
I finally have the courage and strength to say to you, and to anyone who will hear me, my name is Staff Sergeant Sandra Lee, a soldier woman who was raped 5 years ago, but that does not define me.
I've really seen her just evolve into this person of confidence and eloquence and elegance.
They say, hey, this is Derek Espinoza. He's a police officer. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're not. You can't talk about PTSD with other guys on the force. And I think that until we actually say, you know what, it's okay to get help, you're not crazy, nothing's going to change. But if I can just save one guy and maybe even get the option to show some of my buddies who are struggling, that's all I hope for today.
I knew I needed help. And it was like taking a mask off and really seeing myself. That's the hardest thing for me, is to take off this mask and keep it on.
So deep down, who's the real Terry?
The loving, caring person that I was born to be.
These are feet that ran really well from a terrorist attack when they saved me, and these are feet that walked out of an abusive relationship. I want to celebrate my feet, and I want to celebrate where they're going to take me next.
Eric Christiansen, everybody. That is a powerful trailer.
Hey, Jason. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It was interesting watching that, because I got to tell you, that was almost 3 years ago that we did that trailer, and the film has evolved to even more than that. I'm like, wow, okay. It's amazing how these things continue to evolve when you're in the process.
Right.
But thank you.
It looked great. No wonder why you're a 7 times Southwestern Emmy recipient.
Yeah. Actually, where are they? Are they in the background here? Oh, no, they're on the other side of the office.
Now, what led you to getting those awards?
Well, the Emmy Awards, I've been in the industry since I've been making films since I was 8 years old, and I've been in the industry working since I was about 13, when I was always a big kid. So I worked illegally for a while, but then, I just love filmmaking, and I ended up, just starting to win awards, for my work. And then, back about in 1991 or 1990, the Painted Cape fire disaster came and destroyed my house, burned my house down with 440 other homes in Santa Barbara, and kind of drastically changed my work. And that's when I kind of started things over. And that's when I did my first film about recovery after trauma. I did a film called Faces in the Fire that won an Emmy Award, and it also won it was picked up by the catalog of the National Institute of Mental Health, and they use it to help other clinicians helping survivors. And so I kind of found my calling right there.
You sure did. I mean, if that trailer's any indicator on how your production style is, I could just imagine how the full documentary is. When is Unmasking Hope coming out?
It's going to come out at the beginning of the year. And so on public television, it's going to be airing on public television on stations near you the beginning of the year, sometime probably end of January.
Okay.
So we're just literally finishing it up right now, because we have about 3 months lead in time. So we're just working away right now, finishing it up.
Now, how long did it take you to produce this film?
Oh my gosh, this has been 4 years. So, it's amazing. From, like I said, that trailer was done, 2-3 years ago. and it's the film's really evolved since then, and it's a lot of work. And COVID didn't help. You know, we were kind of shut down during COVID, and we had still had some more filming to do. And so, I mean, these projects just take a long time. My last film, Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, took me 8 years. You know, so I look at my age and everything now, looking at it, I'm like, okay, if I do another film, how much more time am I going to spend on it?
Just a couple more years.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know, what's a couple more years for all the accolades? Now, like you mentioned you were filming during COVID. I imagine that even getting the ability to film in person was very hard.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of production companies were doing these remote setup kits where they'd actually send the people the camera and they kind of set it up themselves, and then you direct it through that. And we were getting ready to do that, but it was kind of cost inhibitive, and I really have to be in the same room with the people to interact, especially to get the interviews. It's very intimate. It's very intense subject matter that we're talking about. So,
right,
yeah,
and it's interview based, right?
It's all interview based, yeah. And we don't use any narration, so you know it's told through the people's own words. And you know, part of the thing is being able to really connect on a really special level with these people, and just be transparent so they can tell their story to me. And a lot of times I hear that, you know, they've never told it to anybody else, or as the second person that they told the whole story to. So you have to be in person. So COVID kind of put a you know, shut us down on that. But you know, we did end up going to Las Vegas during COVID, and that was really interesting. We have two survivors from the Route 91 Las Vegas shooting, and we decided that we'd go back to, as part of the film and part of their healing, we go back to Vegas to the memorial, the 9/11 Memorial Garden that's in Las Vegas, and we went right in the middle of COVID. So it was, Vegas is a weird place anyways, but during COVID it gets even weirder.
Did it hit it pretty hard? Was everybody masked up? Because Las Vegas doesn't seem like a place that would conform to the laws and the
no, the hardcores were still there. You know, they're still down there, and it was interesting because they put like plexiglass, you know, these little booths kind of around the blackjack table. So you kind of go in this little plexiglass thing, and then you have a plexiglass in front of you, and the dealer's there, and it's just like really, really weird. You know, I don't gamble, but
and make it seem very illegal.
Yeah,
like a peekaboo window in Manhattan.
Yeah, but it was a very successful trip, and our survivors were able to. What we did is it's a kind of a healing ritual that they do. Is we found a rock. We went to a very special beach, and you find a rock and paint the rock, and then take it back and leave it at the memorial. And we did that with the two survivors in the film, and it was a very special healing process, and it was a very successful trip. So besides Vegas just being weird.
Now, was it just you conducting the interview, or did you have like doctors and psychologists with you also?
You know, that's an interesting question. I work very closely with a team of clinical consultants. My main clinical consultant is Dr. Amit Ekin, and he's out of Stanford University. And he's one of the top PTSD researchers, and he works very closely with me. And you know, it's a big honor, because being able for them to recognize my techniques and my work, it gives it a whole clinical side to it, where it's just not me going out there and kind of clunking through. You know, I try to work with a certain kind of process with these people, because it's very important to be understanding and clinically sound when I'm doing this kind of work.
What is happening? I'm still here with you. Can you hear me?
Okay, right on. I can hear you.
All right, cool. Let me get my camera in order. I'm sorry about that. There we go.
Yeah, so it's very important to me that I do have relationships with clinical supervisors that my work is approved and, clinically. And because it is more than filmmaking for me.
Right. And it gives you a sense of credibility when you have these professionals with you. So it doesn't just seem like you're flopping around for interviews like I am here.
Yeah, it is. I also work with Dr. Catherine Shear out of Columbia University, and she's an expert on grief, and Dr. Arya Shalev out of New York. Well, he was out of New York University. Now he's at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, I believe, right now. So he's over in Israel. So, but it's a real honor to be able to have them recognize my work.
Now, what inspired you to make this film?
This film is kind of a culmination of my 3 other films. Faces in the Fire was my first film about recovery after a disaster. Then I did a film called Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey it was based on a motorcycle run from California to the Wall in Washington, D.C. about the healing of the Vietnam vets. And then I did Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, which really mixed it up. And I had veterans from all different wars. I had World War II vets. I had Korean vets. I had the guys that are coming home now. And I had female vets. And so with this film, what I wanted to do is even kind of mix it up a little bit more and add different kinds of trauma. Because and we really stretched the diversity in this film too, females and different racial makeup, all sorts of different stuff. And so all these people basically are telling their story, and what you walk away with is that we all heal the same, no matter if you're a 9/11 survivor or you're a female veteran or you're a mass shooting survivor. It's just we do basically kind of recover the same, even though it's very different. It's the same arc that we recover with. And I'm always very excited when I get to the point of when I'm cutting together all these diverse stories where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all coming together. They're all working. And so that's kind of how I came to this. It's a logical progression of all my other work.
I would imagine it's like watching your child grow up.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, my youngest is 20. My middle boy just graduated from college. My oldest is getting married 24.
Congratulations.
In September. And yeah, there is a lot of there's a lot of pride and a lot of disappointment. But it is just like having a child and just watching it grow. But this one, this film is very special to me because my last film, Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, was it was a critical and a popular success on public television and the New York Times reviews and things like that. But I don't want to say I felt disconnected from the process, but I was making a film for what I thought the veterans wanted to see, what I thought my producer wanted to see. With this film,
not like through your eyes, through their eyes more.
With this film, I got to a certain point where I just kind of said, F it. I'm making this.
You can curse.
Film. What's that?
You can cuss.
Oh, I just said kind of fuck it. Because I got to a point where I'd worked so hard getting the funding and everything. I said, I'm making my own movie. I'm going to make it the way I really feel it. And going back to my days, in California Institute of the Arts and how, and just going back to my roots of my creativity and my art.
Right. That's how it should be. It should be how do you say, a reflection of yourself, your film.
And it's interesting. It should be that to a certain extent, but when it serves the content, and somehow it really served the content on this. I mean, it's a God-guided thing for me, okay. And but it really served this. And the funny thing is, my last film, even though it ended up being wildly popular, I was turned down by 3 different distributors. I sent this out to my distributor, and literally the next day I get this email going, "We love it." And I'm like, oh, there's kind of a lesson, isn't it? That to follow your heart and do what you really, really are connected to.
Right.
and it'll
Follow
turn
that
out
gut
right,
feeling.
you know. So I'm very excited for everybody to see this. I'm excited to get the new trailer out, you know. When we do release, we'll give you a call and we'll come back and show the new trailer, and you'll be like, dude,
Yeah, that
wow.
sounds good. If you send it to me, I'll put it on my social media pages also, and the
Okay, great.
website.
We will do that. Yeah, we're very excited about it.
Now, why do you feel unmasking hope is so important for today's world?
Oh my gosh, you know, I think we've fallen into a quick quote, kind of, not even a quote. It just we want to sum things up in a sentence. We want to know. We want to know exactly why, you know, things happen, why things, and I think that truncates the whole process of understanding. And so why unmasking hope is so important right now. I think it opens up people's heart, and they start to understand that, you know, recovery and what these people go through, it can't be, you know, it's like with 9/11 survivors 20 years later, why don't they just get over it? Well, it's not that easy. You know, there's a lot of gray area. There's, you know, it opens up people's heart and produces empathy, so people can understand that, you know, things don't always have just a simple answer.
Right.
You know, it's not always just get over it. You know,
Trauma.
Yeah, and so right now in today's environment, I think it's asking us to slow down and understand each other a little bit more, and bring awareness through empathy, through watching these other people's journeys and connecting with them, and understanding that you know, the other thing is we all go through things, and we can all connect in that other side of recovery, and hopefully, you know, find some hope, you know, and unmask the hope.
Right. Now, why exactly do you emphasize the mask in unmasking the way you do?
Well, the mask, you know, it's interesting. The mask is actually, you know, in a clinical term, they call it persona. And it's something that it works. It's actually, it's a working part of our kind of makeup. When certain things happen, just to get through the day, we're going to have to put on this mask. We're going to have to put on a certain persona. I put on, you know, we got to get up, get the kids to school, no matter what happened, these things have to go on. Right. And that part of the mask kind of works, you know, because that persona of get it done, that persona of the work person, that's kind of mask. But
it's almost like muscle memory.
Yeah. Where it goes too far, though, is when that mask gets kind of stuck on you. It turns into alcoholism. It turns into, overworking. It turns into, domestic abuse. It can turn into so many different things, and that mask gets on, and the people underneath forget who they are. And so that idea of the mask is like taking that mask off, like, slowing down, doing the process, finding your tribe, finding other people like you, trying to help others. Once you get to a certain point, that melts away the mask, and then we can get back to who we are, or who we're going to be. And
right,
so that's the
you're
whole
not necessarily going to be the same person you were after trauma.
You never are, really. But we
Right.
get back to our core, hopefully, again. And hopefully we're a little bit better, and I see that all the time. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I see, that's the amazing thing that God does, is that he gives us these trials and things. And if we make up our mind to use it to our advantage, to use it as experience, and then go back and help somebody else, that's where we grow and we actually get a little bit better.
Right. Now, when you were conducting these interviews, did you find it challenging at all to conduct them with these trauma survivors?
Oh, yeah. There's two sides to that. On one side, it's a gift. It's a gift of empathy I have. It's a gift of being able to connect with people.
Right.
The other challenge, though, is to truly listen to somebody, to truly connect. You do have to empathize. You have to feel what they're talking about. You have to really connect. And it's just not concentration. That's not a correct word. It's becoming transparent. And and so the tough part of that is you actually have to feel what they're feeling and really get down where you can understand what they're talking about. And to truly do that, yeah, it's uncomfortable. Sometimes I wasn't looking forward to it because I know for the next 3 hours, I'm going to be put through a situation. I'm going to be put through what they went through.
Right.
But I've learned how to deal with that, how to be able to take their sacred story, then store it away and move ahead. And also how to facilitate their healing by listening to their story in a very real way where they know somebody understands and somebody really cares. But it's not like, boy, I want to go do that right now. But It's a gift that's been given to me. So
now, did PTSD play a role in any of these interviews? Because I would imagine it would.
Now, I mean, some of the symptoms and having to actually deal with the manifestation of PTSD, is that what you're saying?
Right. As you're conducting the interview, are some of these patients going through?
Oh, yeah. But again, in between working with my clinical supervisors and the clinicians I've worked with and everything, I've learned how to kind of deal with that. I've also, just learned the patience. Because you do run into walls. There's certain places they can't go, depending on how far they've healed and what their situation is. There's certain different kinds of levels of interviews that I'm able to achieve, and I also learn where to push a little bit and where not to. It's a very sensitive thing, but yeah. PTSD does play a big part in it, and the manifestations of those different symptoms all the time. But really caring about somebody and really connecting with them kind of breaks through all that. It just it's kind of the Beatles thing. It's all you need is love, and if love conquers so much. And I just part of my work is just loving on these people. A lot of them end up becoming good friends.
Right. You don't have anything unless you have love.
Right.
It's like the base platform for everything.
And we can all give away a little bit of love. It's just being a good listener. It's hard to shift from, it's just when I'm talking to somebody, I can always tell if all they're waiting to do is to tell me what they want to tell, because they're like this. Right. Oh yeah. And you're done and they just jump on it. You're like, dude, you just didn't hear anything I said.
You sound like my wife. My wife tells me that all the time.
Well, I don't know.
That's like you want to talk.
That's a different situation. I hear it too.
Now, did you ever have to stop a interview because of PTSD and like kind of let them get their bearings back?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily because of PTSD, but it is because of being overwhelmed emotionally. We have to stop quite often, because I know when, I'm not in there to get the crying shot. I'm not like 60 Minutes coming in and we got to get the guy crying, Right. That's not, I'm trying to get the story. The people come first in my films, and then the film is secondary to actually the people's experience, individuals and the participants' experience. And so, yeah, we've had to stop down before. We've had to stop an interview, completely. It's like, we can't really finish it right now, because it brings stuff up. And then, becomes a whole debriefing process after the interview. I mean, it's not just what's on camera, it's after the interview. We just don't take off. If we're doing an interview, we plan to be there the whole day, and I plan on checking in on them, and my producers check in. And, I end up having a special relationship with most of the people that are in my films. And, I was just texting Molly, who's one of the mass shooting survivors in UnMASKing Hope, just checking in and seeing how her and her little toddler is doing, and wow. But it's follow-up. So there's more than just being in the interview. There's just being, because you're opening up some wounds and things. And I want to make sure, right. Hopefully a lot of them are already in therapy. And we've worked with the mass shooting survivors. We work with their therapists through the whole process. So they knew exactly what we were going to be doing next, so they could prepare them in therapy to be able to then participate in the film.
Right, no surprises. It's
Yeah.
healthier. I understand. Have you ever been approached to maybe have your pieces used in educational purposes?
Oh yeah, that's one of my biggest, that's a source of pride for me. I mean, with Faces in the Fire, it went on to be in the National Institute of Mental Health's catalog. Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey ended up being shown at a lot of different VAs. Searching for Home, Coming Back from War ended up at all the, literally there's a copy, I think, at every vet center in the United States, and they use it to kind of connect with the guys that are just coming in. It's kind of a good way for them to enter into this concept of recovery and things like that. And it does, I hate the word trigger. I don't use that word anymore. I use the word activate. It does activate a lot of deep, emotions and things like that. The films do. So Searching for Home, Coming Back from War, a lot of vet centers and places like that use it too. So yeah, and this film, I don't know where it'll end up, in an educational kind of place. We do have an outreach partner, givenhour.org. You can go to givenhour.org. They supply 1 hour of, not just 1 hour, but they supply free therapy to people that have went through trauma, particularly veterans and mass shooting survivors and things like that. And they will be, doing screenings of the film with their people. And there we go. Given Hour. And they're a great organization. Look them up, givenhour.org. I've actually been honored to be named one of their ambassadors. And, what is an outreach partner for a documentary? An outreach partner is somebody that has boots on the ground that can actually take the idea of, take the idea of the film into community and have actions in very real ways that will reach out and help people that have seen the film, that have been activated and or use it for educational purposes. So there you go. Man, you're quick. Look at that.
Now we gotta know. After you unmask Hope.
Yeah, their resource page is awesome too. So there's all sorts of resources.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, they're a bunch of resources on here for all types of survivors.
But yeah, it's just that, for anybody that they also have another side, Change Direction, which is working to bring awareness to mental health issues and to destigmatize people with mental health issues and getting help for mental health issues. So Given Hour is quite the organization.
Sounds amazing.
Oh yeah. Good people.
Now, what's next for Eric?
That's funny because just the other day I was telling my wife, I go, this is wrapping up, and it's been my life since I was always in the process of making a film. And I have a couple things, but it just, do I want to jump into something? I was saying, I might not do another film, and she just started laughing. I do have a narrative film based, on my documentary Homecoming: A Vietnam Vet's Journey, about a Vietnam veteran, and it's a narrative film. And I don't know. I don't have anything lined up right now. I'm just finishing this and really trying to enjoy the time that I have creatively to be working on this, and the great people I'm working with. My composer, Craig Dobbin. I'm working with an amazing animator, two of them, Ed Bell and Roger Martell. And it's just great to work with other artists and things. I'm going to miss that. So
Right.
yeah, I'll find something else. But it's kind of like,
or it'll find you.
Yeah, it's kind of like jumping into like a relationship. You're going to get your heart broken.
Right.
It's the funding and all that stuff, and and getting your heart broken by the project and this and that, and just, you know, it's just, would I rather just go sit on the beach? You know, I don't know. And I wouldn't actually. I love being in process. You know, and that's one thing I take away from, you know, my education in California Institute of the Arts is it's all about the process.
Yeah, that's where you feel at home.
Yeah. When I'm doing something, when I'm creating.
I hear
the product is great. It's great when you get the product, but man, there's some kind of empty hole once that it's like your kid. It's like my kids. My daughter moved to New York. My middle boy just moved out, and you know, my oldest boy is getting married. It leaves a little bit of a hole when you're done. You know, it's like, hey, wait, hold on.
Yeah, you got to fill that void somehow.
Yeah.
Filmmaking's your baby.
Yeah.
The one that won't leave the house.
Yeah.
That
and
Eric,
my dogs.
That and your dogs.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate your time, and I cannot wait for the new trailer.
Oh, thank you, Jason. And we'll definitely be getting back to you. And when we come out, and we'll bring the new trailer, and we'll chat again.
Yeah, and I look forward for you coming on the next time you have an idea spark and you want to make another documentary.
Okay, great.
Don't go nowhere yet. I'd like to talk to you right after.
Okay, perfect.
And there you have it, folks. Another great interview with another great soul. Eric Christiansen. Go to YouTube, check out his stuff, look for it everywhere. Is there any particular place where we can find your past documentaries?
Actually, yes. EC, like Eric Christiansen, ecproductions.com. It's kind of a clearinghouse. You can find all my stuff there. Then also UnMaskingHopeTheMovie.com. You can go there to see what's going on with the movie, and go to givenhour.org and see what they're doing.
Definitely. Go check those out, man. His production value is pristine. I'm hoping to get some pointers from him for this podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow night for the break room. We got a good one. We're talking about Memphis rap sigils. If you don't know about that, join the club, because neither the fuck do I. And again, we're brought to you by Excalibur by Heaven's Pantry and The Dizzle. You can't go wrong with a little dizzle in your life. Make sure to go order yours now and order your Excaliburs on Amazon. Talk Junk 69. Get 10% off every order. See you tomorrow.